It's Fans Corner. Welcome to it and thank you for making time for us. We are back in the Betway Premiership. The 2025-2026 Betway Premiership season has actually commenced. We are officially underway. We've just watched Chippa United against Mamelodi Sundowns out at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, and that game ending in a 1-1 draw. I'm pretty sure Chippa United will be more delighted with the 1 point than Mamelodi Sundowns would be as the reigning champions. At the same time, there were games involving AmaZulu and Orbit College. AmaZulu won the game by 1-0. Polokwane and Magesi played to a goalless draw. Richards Bay and Marumo Gallants taking all 3 points there, which means Chippa, Marumo Gallants and AmaZulu were the first teams to record victories in the current season. Match week 1, as I'm recording right now, the game between Orlando Pirates and Sekhukhune United is at halftime. I had actually recorded for this the post-match reaction video for the Sundowns and Chippa United game, but for some reason I forgot to switch on the microphone. As I was editing while watching the Pirates game, I realized there was no sound, so I decided during halftime I'll come back and re-record whatever I had. So I'm pretty sure that was a better version of what we are doing now, because now I'm thinking about the Pirates game. But yes, it was a typical Mamelodi Sundowns game. If we are to be honest, very dominant in terms of ball position, in terms of the number of passes, in terms of accurate passes. They were pretty much dominant in all over the pitch. But interestingly, it was Chippa United that got the first goal scoring opportunity. Unfortunately, they squandered it. They could not score. Beautiful cross coming. I think it was coming from the left, crossed in, and the player who in the advanced position just decided to balloon the ball. Poor technique in terms of finishing. Nowhere near the target, unfortunately with games like that, if you're playing against Mamelodi Sundowns and you get an opportunity like that one, you must bury it. If you can't bury it, because Sundowns, one thing you can be guaranteed about Sundowns is that they will create goal scoring opportunities, and they are not known to miss a lot of goal scoring opportunities. So as soon as I saw that for Chippa United, I thought to myself, I hope they don't live to regret that. They had 2 of those opportunities actually. Their flanks were pretty much very, very creative. They were able to get into the Sundowns third of the field, and they were able to put in some crosses. Beautiful crosses, I have to say. But unfortunately, when there is no one to finish on the other side, the cross is as good as null and void. Sundowns getting the chance, which is what we know them to be able to create many chances. Arthur Sales slotting in. You see the difference between the two teams. Arthur Sales on the other side was cool, calm and collected, composed. Slots in the ball. I mean, just put it under the armpit of the goalkeeper, and just like that, Mamelodi Sundowns take a lead to the halftime. But if you were watching the game, you would agree with me that on any other day or in any other team would have gone to the halftime leading Mamelodi Sundowns against the run of play, even because Sundowns were dominant on the game as we know them to be. They just possess the ball. That's who they are. We know that. It's the same story every day. But Chippa United had the better chances. They could have finished those chances, and they would have gone into the halftime leading by at least 2 goals to 1. But unfortunately, because they could not convert their chances, coming into the second half, Chippa United. What I will give credit to Chippa United is that in as much as they did apply the low block, but there were times when they were on the ball and they tried to play ball. I love it when teams try to do that, but I know it does not always work. Sometimes, many times, more often than not, it backfires. More often than not, when you try to play ball against Mamelodi Sundowns, they press you, they win the ball, and they find you out of position and they punish you. And Chippa United did not suffer those consequences today. Actually, when they were able to play ball, they were able to create a goal of their own, and they held on to that 1-1 score, which is where we ended the game at 1-1, and Chippa collecting that vital point. I would say vital point because if you were to ask Chippa United at the beginning of the game or before the game, you said, "Can you take a point from this game?" I'm pretty sure they would take it with a broad smile on their faces, because it doesn't come very often. Sundowns are known not to drop too many points, whether playing away from home or at home. Especially away from home, actually, they pretty much they are ruthless. So being able to collect that 1 point against Mamelodi Sundowns, for them, I think it is some sort of an achievement. And for Sundowns, a team that does not really drop points a lot, they will probably feel like this is a defeat, especially for a team that was leading. Sundowns, once they take a lead, it's very difficult for a team to come back. That's why I'm saying we have to give Chippa United credit for being able to come back even after they were trailing by 1-0. Usually when Sundowns draws a game, it's because Sundowns themselves would have trailed in the game, and then they would come back and equalize. But it doesn't happen a lot that they would lead and then lose and forfeit their lead and settle for a draw. And that's what happened this time around. Towards the end of the game, we saw Chippa United doing what any team would do, because Sundowns were pretty much piling up the pressure there with the likes of Mapena and other. Mapena had a beautiful chance. Unfortunately, he put it wide. Zwane as well, putting some serious pressure there. I think if there was someone like Lucas Ribeiro, probably they would have had a chance. They would have probably created more chances than they did. Maybe even converted. They just needed one more chance to convert and then collect the 3 points. But in the context of the league, I'm glad as a Kaizer Chiefs fan that this is how the league started for Mamelodi Sundowns, dropping points. I'm not saying that my team is going to benefit or maximize on that, but take advantage of that. It's good for competition when things don't go well for the most dominant team in the league, and it's good for the league when things go well for those teams that are not known for doing so well in the league, because it puts them on kind of an equal footing of some sort in the first game week of the season. That also gives the likes of Orlando Pirates, who are ambitious, and the Stellenbosch and a chance to actually try and challenge for the league. It's not very often that we see Sundowns not being in number 1 in the log, and right now they are not number 1 in the log. Amazulu have taken 3 points. Marumo Gallants have taken 3 points. There are still other games. Pirates are still playing. It's still 0-0 at the time of recording. Pirates were still 0-0 at halftime. There's still games to be played on Sunday as well, involving Chiefs and Stellenbosch. So anything can happen. So it's going to be a very unusual log table at the very must I say that. Remember, this is just the beginning of the league, so we can't read much into it, but it's always good to have that situation. It happens more often than not that Sundowns win their first game and they stay in the number 1 position until the end of the season without being unseated or dethroned there. So this season has not started with Sundowns at the top of the log. I guess that could also, in terms of the mentality of other teams, that could also benefit. They could also benefit from that. I don't know. I'm just thinking, because it's not something that we see a lot. Otherwise, thank you for making time for us. This has been Fans Corner. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, so that it helps us, and also follow us in our socials on Fans Corner. That's on your TikTok and your Facebook. Otherwise, on YouTube. I don't know where you're watching this video from, but if it's YouTube, make sure to subscribe on the podcast Off-Air Podcasts. Off-Air Podcasts. We are one of the podcasts from Off-Air Podcasts, so give us a subscription there. We meet again in the next one. The next one will be the game. We'll do a post-match reaction video for the game between Orlando Pirates and Sekhukhune United that's currently underway at the Orlando Stadium at the time of recording, I have to say. We meet again in the next one.